Curse words and sarcasm were used in the making of this video.
Hello, Jamie from Potty Crafter Society, back with a new card and effect using unicorn farts from Ink Road Stamps. Should have I been using unicorn farts for this one? I don't know. It worked. I mean, you know, I actually had done a different card with actual unicorn farts on it, and this card was born, like, in my head. I was like, well, you know, if you'd add the stripper pole, you could definitely make it look like it was a stripper on a pole. And because I did a neon effect on my other channel, I wanted to do it, you know, the wheels were turning. And so the Pink Pony Club was born, and, you know, I just could not try it. So I stamped my unicorn with some Distress Oxide. Spun Sugar ink, I think is what it was that I used, like a light pink. The other one I would suggest, well, because I knew I was going pink, I would go with like the Lost Shadow would work as well. It's probably my favorite ink to stamp with on black would be the lighter Distress Oxides. I have the best luck with them. I have yet to find myself a white ink pad besides the Stays On one that I love. So that being said, that, you know, I was just using it to kind of help me to draw this. I really didn't. I end up covering it all up, but ultimately that was, you know, where I was going with this one. So I picked up some fairly cheap acrylic water-based markers off of Amazon with my birthday monies. I want to say this is a 48-piece set. I will list it down below with the Amazon link to it. I like them. They kind of have like this, I don't know, almost like a foam ball on the end, but they cover nicely. They are water-based, so I think you can get a water-based look with them. Kind of like the Karen markers, maybe, if you work when they're still wet. Once they're dry, and water isn't going to move them. I mean, that's kind of the whole point of them, right? So, but I don't know, it was kind of a fun effect. I think I ended up getting the look I wanted with this one. Doing the hair was a little bit difficult. I wanted to have a little bit more definition in there than I maybe had, and so I had to play a little bit. I did come in with the finer tip to kind of add in some of those smaller details and then fill in some of the gaps that maybe my coloring didn't allot for to start with, and just kind of continuing from there, keeping in mind that I was trying to make it look like a neon sign. So neon signs usually just have the outline and not so much detail and such. I did add probably more detail than I needed to have for a neon sign look, but I loved the added, you know, the added pizzazz to this one. But it was definitely fun to kind of color up, and I loved how it ended up turning out in the end. So anything else I can say with this one? Not really. And I'm gonna not sing for you because I tried and then I listened to it and it was horrible. So now I know why my child just rolls his eyes whenever I'm singing in the barn. Yeah. It is what it is. So I did come in with, you know, a second layer on some of the white just to kind of help brighten it again. I don't know if it needed it. I just felt I needed it. And then, of course, the lighter one, and then the darker one coming back in again and adding in some of those darker pink tones. I just felt it kind of helped to give me a little bit more definition where I got a little overzealous with my white and light pink. But ultimately, I was impressed with the markers. They weren't expensive by, any means. They were probably stupid cheap for what I got, and I was impressed with the quality of them. Yeah, here's me. So I did cut it out. I just hand cut it out, just kind of cut it. I think I cut it on the line for this one for the most part. I added back in the unicorn horn. I probably could have skipped out on that part, but you know, I already had colored it, so might as well just keep going with it. So I did bring in a piece of holographic paper for my stripper pole for this one, and I'm gonna set that off to the side, and I'm gonna line this up. This is just some Avery L removable label adhesive sheet that's cut down. I like the label adhesive sheets. They don't leave a film behind. I can splatter on them as long as I let them dry. They peel up just fine, and you know, I think they are kind of spendy, so it's probably like, I don't know, I buy the 25 count pack and I have it on subscribe and save, and then I just skip it every 6 months if I don't need it. But they're not horrible, you know, when you're looking at masking style paper. I just like how it masks and the ease of removal. So I am bringing in Trinity Stamps mini Slimline die cut out of some holographic cardstock. This is really has become a stencil for me more than anything. I thought about bringing in the Tim Holtz tile background stencil, but it's not really a disco ball, and this one definitely has the disco ball vibe to it. I should have lined it up better on the top, so that part kind of annoyed me, but it's, you know, it's okay. I'll live, right? I don't know why it lined up better on the bottom than it did the top, and I think the last time I did this I probably did something similar. I just decided I was okay with it. It wasn't going to be perfect, but you know, broken glass isn't supposed to be perfect anyways, right? So embrace the flaws. Yes, you know, did I in the moment? Probably not. I got frustrated and, you know, kept trying to fix it, but ultimately it turned out just fine. And that's, you know, it helps you guide where you're going to put some of the things. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I just kind of move it around to kind of get me the disco ball background effect. If somebody would make a big 6x6 disco ball stencil, I would be all for it and buy it in a heartbeat. I want it. I need it. I'd love it. Thank you. All right. Okay. So I did bring in maybe some Winsor & Newton iridescent watercolor medium, but I'm thinking this one is the Artist Loft. It's probably the Artist Loft acrylic medium that has the sparkle, the iridescent sparkle. I picked a big, huge thing up at Michael's. You would not need to pick up a big, huge thing. It will last you forever. I mixed it in a little shaker bottle with some water, and then I just shake up the bottle, put a little bit on my desk, and then use it as splatter. It is deliciously sparkly, and it doesn't flake off like some of the mica sprays do. So if it's something that you've been looking for, that would be my suggestion. It's glorious. So I am going to use a big piece of holographic cardstock for my base piece on my card. If you're, you know, I might have bought a whole ream of this, so normally I would probably cut something out of the middle because I would feel bad, but I literally have a whole ream of it, so I just used it. So now it's just a matter of putting my stripper pole back onto the front, and I'm gonna pop that up with a 1/8 of an inch. I can't find my words today. An 1/8 of an inch double-sided foam adhesive strip from scrapbook.com, and I'm gonna do a little bit of an extra cut on my image. So I need to be able to obviously slide the, you know, this pony, the pink pony, onto the stripper pole with, you know, so it looks like it's actually on the pole and not up above it or below it. And then of course putting the tail behind it just kind of adds a little bit more depth and dimension to it as well. And then I'm going to come in with that foam tape again. I think this is like, there's maybe 1 millimeter. It's super thin, so it's not going to add a whole lot of bulk to the front of my card, at least dimension wise. If you're wondering, probably not, but that's what I did. Okay, so I'm going to remove the adhesive backing, add on, you know, another piece here and there. I am going to glue the tail part down and the back hoof down. Hoof and stripper in the same sentence. Anyways, so the tail and the hoof are going to be glued straight onto the background. And then, of course, the rest will all have that little bit of pop on it. Now, placement, of course, I was trying to hide that line up on top, so that kind of helped me with my placement on there. And then I did go and put some, fuck, words are hard today, some score tape onto the back of that other piece of that holographic paper. Cut them out with a Tim Holtz sentiment set. I think this one was. I think this is the letterboard, like the newer one that came out. I think this is the letterboard alphabet that comes with that one. So it's kind of a nicer, maybe an inch at most. I think it's a little under an inch for the letters, but I could cut them out from that holographic and then just use them as stickers. It's probably my favorite way to do those kinds of things, just because it works very well. I know that the score style tape is going to stick like nobody's business. I don't need to add glue onto it, so I don't need to worry about glue oozing out. Plus, I think you get a little bit, as long as you don't stick it hard, you get a little bit of wiggle room if you just set it on there gently, and you can kind of manipulate it into the spot that you need it to be in. So I lined them all up on the right hand side and then worked my way over with them. I wasn't too worried about them all. I knew that they weren't going to line up letters on top of each other all the way across, just because some of the letter sizes were bigger, smaller. You know, the I obviously is going to be thin, and you know, so I wasn't too worried about that, and I didn't want to have funky open spaces, I guess, on there, so I put them together. But it was kind of, so this is like my ode to the Pink Pony Club song. A little secret, it is my husband's favorite song. Why? Because the first time we heard it, we were like, what in the fuck is this? And I'm like listening to it, and I'm like, this is a stripper song. And that's where the love for the Pink Pony Club came from, I'm pretty sure. My little nephew loves it too. And I told his mom, I said, you know why he loves it? I said, it's a stripper song. And she goes, yep, it is. And that's, you know, it is what it is. I think it's just, it has that catchy tune. Call darn it. Anyway, my youngest child hates the song because his father loves the song. See? It might be because it plays too much. That's usually when we turn from liking a song to hating the song, is it not? When they overplay said song. Why do they do that all the time? It's horrible. Anyways, so for this one, I am adding a sentiment on the inside from Ink Road Stamps. I thought about doing the little sparkle wherever you go, because that would be kind of cute and encouraging and blah, 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 blah. And then I thought, this is me. Let's get real. The last time I danced like no one was watching, I was detained for 24 hours mandatory observation. Seems legit. Keep in mind with your clear stamps or red rubber, if you're going from one set to another, the thickness may not be the same. As you saw when I did that first initial stamp there, it did not stamp very well. That's because this one's just a hair thicker than the other one. And so if that's something you have found, that is why. I just suggest doing one set at a time. I just kind of go back in and add it later. I did add the little unicorn back in, you know, or just the front half to just kind of tie in to the front of the card as well. And then I just brought in that Stardust pen. I think it's called the Stardust pen, Jelly Roll pen, and added some glitter. Well, because, you know, it's a stripper club, you need glitter. So anyways, I added glitter onto the horn, into the hair, onto the hooves, you know, glittering, all the things. It's all good. So I think that is about it. All that is left is to score the base. I did reinforce that fold with my little bone folder there. And I did leave a white border on this one. This one's card base is actually a 6x6. I think it's 6x6. Or did I do? I don't know. I'd have to go back and measure it. I may have done a 5.5 by 5.5 because then I could just cut down a regular piece of cardstock. And then, oh yeah, I wasn't done yet because it needed more glitter. So I did come in after it was dry. I did come in with the glitter brush, and this is how I know that once it's dry, it stays dry, or it stays put. So I did come in with that glitter brush and just generously soak it with the glitter brush. Can you see it? In real life, you can see the glitter on it a little bit. I would probably think about doing a paintbrush with the stuff that I splattered with if I really wanted it to be a lot more glittery. I just didn't see it as well on that other, but I left the little can't see anything, but you could see that the glitter on the background. Yeah, that's why you got to watch that not very in focus bit. But there is my pink Pony Club card. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. I will try to get back on here, you know, sometime in the next month. Have an amazing rest of your day. Stay salty, my friends. Stay salty.